Hopefully everybody can see me. Can you see me yet, Jess?
Yep.
Okay. Hey guys. Thanks. We're going to give everybody a minute or two to get on here. And then we will get started. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Excited to be here with you guys today.
It's 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock. So it is 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock means we get started. So thank you guys for being here. I am Jessica Ronning, Keune Academy Trainer, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee. So I'm going to share with you guys today wicked texture. As we go along today, my producer, the great and powerful Oz that's behind the curtain. If you guys are regular Monday viewers, you know the voice of Jessica Mills. If you're new to our Monday Live, you will hear her in the background. She will be answering all the questions, not answering all the questions, filtering in all the questions for me. So since I can't see you guys or interact with you and hear you, just type in your questions, your comments, anything like that, and Jessica will fill those into me. And interact with me since I can't hear you and see you. Throw me some high fives or thumbs up if you get excited about anything I'm sharing with you today. Show me some love, all that good stuff. And again, wicked texture. Jessica Mills is in the background. And again, thank you guys just for spending this next hour with me. So we are action. So I love this class. I love sharing this with everyone because most of the time when people hear the word perm, they kind of cringe, don't want to do it. I know I have a coworker that someone will be on a book for a perm and they leave with a smoothing treatment. I don't know how they make that happen, but they do. But I have so many fun different ways that I'm going to share with you to get texture and body in the hair without even picking up a perm rod. So show me some love if you're excited about that, because when we hear perm, I know we think of grandma, we think of like that 80s poodle perm kind of feel and look. So there's so many other ways to get that in the hair. So that's what we're going to go through today. The other reason I'm excited about this is we are going to be talking about our Keune Keratin Curl, which is our Keune Perm. I love this because over the years perms have been revamped, things like that. But what I also love is if you guys know our history with Keune, family owned and operated company that was started in 1922 by Jan Keune. And the first product we ever had was a perm. So I love kind of just getting to bring that back and share with you guys how to do that and use that in a fun, new, traditional way. So that's what we're going to do today. So thank you again for being here. First thing that we're going to talk about before we jump into the fun techniques and things like that we always have to think about, no matter if it's a texture service setting in our chair, a color, a cut, is our consultation. One of the biggest things I get when someone sits in the chair and wants what I try to call now a texture service instead of a perm, is I want to know why do you want a perm? Most of the time I get the answer is, I just want my hair to be easy. I don't want to have to deal with it. You can get easy with perms, but you also have to let them know it's going to be still products that they need to use. They're going to have to change their regimen of what they're using on their hair and how they comb their hair, touch their hair, things like that. So I want to know why they want it, and we dive into what you're going to have to do to take care of this. Have they had a perm before? If they have had a perm before, I want to know why you haven't had it in so long. When was the last one? What you loved about it, what you didn't love about it, and dive into, again, why you want it, have you had it, what are you looking for? We need to know what type of curl or body that they want in their hair. So I know a lot of you we all have a love-hate relationship with Pinterest. Some people have those Pinterest pages and things that they come in and they're like, I want this kind of curl. And you kind of look at it and you're like, that's done with a curling iron or a wand. Some of these techniques I'm going to share with you today, I'm excited because you can get somewhat of that effect with these, again, without even picking up a perm rod. So, but we have to make sure we're on the same page with our client of what kind of curl or body they're looking for. History. Of course, we have to know, again, have you had a perm recently? Do you have color on your hair? Have you had highlights? Have you had highlights that's covered up? So, they're like, no, it's natural. And then you say, when was the last time you had highlights? And they're like, oh, 3 months ago, but I covered it up. It's my natural now. So dive in deep and get that history of what's on their hair so we know which type of keratin curl we're going to use. And we're going to go through those in a little bit. Sink or swim, sink or float test. So this is a thing I like to do to check their integrity of their hair. Couple of things that we want to know before we put any kind of chemical on their hair is what kind of elasticity and porosity they have. So of course elasticity is that we pull it like a rubber band. If it bounces back, it's got great elasticity. If it breaks, probably not going to want to maybe perm that at the time. Give them a treatment, let them live on their hair, come back when their hair's feeling a little bit better. Same thing with porosity. If the porosity is a really bad porosity, we probably want to wait a little bit before we do that service. But the way you could check porosity is you take one strand of their hair, just ask them to pluck it out, say, sorry, but I'm going to pull out a piece of your hair. You could be nice and cut it if you want, whatever you feel like for that particular client. And you're going to take that one strand of hair and put it in just a cup of water. Full cup of water, you're going to wait 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, if it sinks, you're going to want to love on that hair before you touch it. If it floats, it means it's got great porosity, and you can go ahead and do that service for them today. So it's just a fun little way, and it's a great way visual for them to see, and you explain to them what that hair's doing and why it's sinking or why it's floating. And then again, home maintenance. They're going to have to change the regimen of using, if they're using smoothing products because they smooth their hair out a lot. We have a great variety of products in our care line with our curl control and with our style products, curl cream, things like that I'm going to share with you guys as we go along. But I always let them know what to expect with home maintenance. So towards the end of this, as we get done with doing our techniques and talking about our keratin curl, I'm going to go over some steps with home maintenance. I'll talk to them here, but then I like to talk to them at the end and just reevaluate everything and say, here's what we got to do now. So how are we doing so far? Good? Questions or anything yet, Jess?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. So again, pictures. So I just threw a few pictures up there if you guys can see those. What kind of curl do you want? There are beach wave type curls. Some people will come in and be like, I want a beach wave. I don't want a really curl. So I have a technique for you guys for that today. Sometimes we just want a very, very soft wave, spirally curls, just some kind of that like scrunch kind of curl. This one, if you could see it, it's a zigzag. I have a very fun technique for you guys for that one today. It's one of my favorites. What's cool with all of these techniques I want to show you also is if your client's not 100% sure if they want it or not, you can actually set their hair with what I'm going to show you today. Put them under a dryer. Let it dry that way, take it out, let them wear it for the day, and they can kind of get a feel of, hey, I do really like this, or maybe I don't want this every day. So it's a great way to just show them different ways of styling their hair too. So as we go, I'm also going to just talk to you guys about revisiting the steps of doing a perm, because sometimes I know some of us have not done a perm in a really long time. So as I go through and do some steps, some techniques, I'll talk to you about the steps for the perm. So I have 5 different techniques I want to show you today. So I want to jump in and get started. And then as we go, like I said, I'll talk to you steps of the perm, of our keratin curl, and what keratin curl formulas we have. So again, do you guys have those clients that just want that body, they want that beach wave, and don't want a lot of curl in their hair? How many of you have either went to bed with braids in your hair yourself, or maybe your child someone that you know, and you take those braids down and you have body and wave, right? So why not braid the hair and actually perm it? It's one of my favorite ones to do in the salon. It's super fast and easy, and they just get that nice beachy wave in there without getting tons of curl. A couple things to think about and remember while you're doing the braid for this. You do want to kind of smooth everything out. I'm just doing one down the center right now. Depending on how much wave they have or want to have, think about it as I could do one on each side, so I could do 2 braids. If they want something a little bit tighter of a wave, like it's still going to be a wave and not a curl, but I could do maybe 3 braids. I could go into 4 braids. So just depending on how loose or tight I want that wave. We had a girl that was coming into the salon, and she was coming in about once a week, and she would come in, just stop in and have someone French braid her hair. Didn't care who did it. I'd seen her in there, seen her leave with French braids. She comes in one it's a Tuesday morning, and she's like, "Can anyone French braid my hair?" And our little desk girl's like, "Everybody's, unfortunately, we're full and busy and booked," which is a good thing, right? I had finished my color early, and I happened to be standing there, and I was like, "Oh no, I can do that. I have a few minutes. Let's go get you French braided." So as I'm French braiding her, I'm talking to her, and she's like, I do this because I've had all this thick hair. I don't like to deal with it. It gets kind of frizzy, and I love the way my hair looks after I take it down the next day, and I wear it like that for about 3 days. And I'm like, we can actually do this for you and perm it and keep it that way for you. She was overjoyed. She come in, she got it done. We done 3 Dutch braids, and she absolutely was just in love. So just fast, easy ways. And this one is so quick because you're not having to roll it all up. If you can't French braid, you always have someone one of your friends in the salon or somebody do that for you. Or think of other different things. Like you could do this with a fishtail braid. You can do this with the rope braid. You can do this with knots, like tying knots in the hair down the hair. And you'll get different results with those, but just different ways of doing that. Now, at the end of this, when I do a perm, if there is something that's very like the bands of the perm rods and things like that, when you do the solution, it could cause banding. So same thing here. I don't want to put elastic in the bottom of this because when I put the solution on, I don't want it to have that crease. So very easy at the bottom. Here's our 1 perm rod we're going to pick up today. I'm just going to go in. Still need to use my end paper. Just there on the bottom, 1 perm rod. And that holds it and gives me that on the bottom. So fast and easy. I've got one finished for you guys. The one I did that I'm going to show you. On one side I've done an invisible braid like this. And on the other side I've done the Dutch braid where it kind of sticks out on top of the hair. I don't feel like it's a huge difference between the two, but it has a little bit of a difference. So here she is. So how great is that? That wave, that body in the hair, and you can get it just by braiding the hair and putting that keratin curl on there. See this side over here, that is the invisible. So that's the one that doesn't show, that doesn't stick up on the top of the head. And then this side is the visible. It was the Dutch tail French braid. So not a huge difference, but I feel like you get a little bit more curl with the Dutch braid and a little bit more wave with the invisible. But again, think about if I do one down the center, I want to have a little bit more over direction. So I might not have the curl come up quite as much to the scalp. If I want it to be a little bit closer, then I'm going to do 2. If I want a little bit tighter of a wave, I could even go and do 3 to 4. Just think the smaller and the tighter you do it, the tighter the wave's going to be. Also, at the bottom of this, hers done pretty well because she didn't have as long hair. But a lot of times when we do those French braids, when you start getting down, if they have really long hair, we get really tight with that. So something that you also want to think about is this up here is going to be wider and looser. So when I get down here, sometimes I'm going to want to pull that apart to make sure it doesn't get too tight. And the curl pattern's the same. The wave pattern's the same all the way through. Cool?
So, Jess, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you're doing this one right here, what are some tips with applying the solution?
Great question. So applying the solution. So we're getting ready to get into our keratin curl, which I love. One of the things I love about it is it just twists right off if you haven't seen it. So there's no finding a T-pin and having to try to take that out. So once I have it done, I'm going to, let's just jump right here really quick. Our steps. So before I start any of my wraps, I'm going to shampoo and clarify. Of course, I'm going to use our Keune clarifying shampoo. That is just white that you can't see because the light's so bright. But it's our Keune clarifying shampoo, and it's going to get everything out of the hair and make it nice and clean for me. No conditioner after you shampoo before you do a perm. So just our clarifying shampoo. Then I'm going to wrap it. Once I wrap it, next step is perm solution. But before I put that perm solution on, before I do any of these wraps, what I like to do is I use our Brilliantine gel. And I take that Brilliantine gel, and it's just a barrier for that perm solution. So it's not getting on their skin. Because we're going to put that cotton on there also. But sometimes that cotton gets a little bit wet and heavy, and it's setting on their skin. So I just like to take that Brilliantine gel and make that a barrier for me before I apply that solution. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take my cotton, and that also helps the cotton, especially for wraps like this, to set on there. And of course I'd wrap it all the way around. I just grabbed a short piece, but it would wrap all the way around. Now that I have that barrier cream and that cotton on, now I'm going to do my solution. So again, that solution is here, and I don't want to ever touch the actual hair with it. I don't want to scrape it across the hair. So I'm just going to go in and just keep it here, and I'm just going to apply that down that braid. So I just want to make sure that's saturated. Then we're going to let it process. I'll tell you processing times for these in just a few. Once I process this, I'm going to go and rinse it. I'm going to rinse this a good, our directions always say 5 minutes, but it's going to be about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how thick their hair is. The thicker their hair is, the more and longer I want to rinse. I literally, it's kind of like, it's almost kind of a creeper kind of thing. Like I feel like when I'm rinsing them with a perm, because as I'm rinsing them, after I get to about that 5-minute mark, I'm literally like smelling their hair. So I want to see if that odor's still there. What's great about these two, yes, they still smell like perm, but they are not as strong and as bad as some of the old perms that you have had in your career. They're very easy to deal with. And then the neutralizer actually smells amazing. But I want to make sure that's out. So especially really thick hair on some of these. Some of them I'll let you know too. I will rinse. And then after I'm done rinsing, the other thing I need to do is I need to blot it out well. So I will take my towel, really work that out at the end here. Take that ponytail and just like wrap it around and just squeeze really good, because I want to make sure all that water is out. If there's a lot of water still in the hair, it's not going to take that neutralizer as well. Think of a sponge that's soaking wet. If I take a soaking wet sponge and throw it in a puddle of water, is it going to soak up any of the other water? Because it's already soaking wet. So I got to wring that sponge out first and then throw it in that puddle of water, and it will soak up that water. So that's what I've got to do before I put that neutralizer on. So it's a very important step that I feel like a lot of people kind of miss or forget about, but I want to get that out, that water out really well. A couple of the techniques I'll show you today, what I will do is after I've rinsed really well and blotted really well, I will actually put them under a medium dryer for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick their hair is or how long their hair is, to make sure that enough of the water is out before I put that neutralizer on. So once I've done that, then I'm going to apply the neutralizer. The neutralizer for our perms, the keratin curls, stay on 10 minutes total. I'm going to apply it onto the, after I've rinsed, blotted, same thing. It's in a white bottle, still screws off. I'm going to apply about most of it up until I'm going to have about a little bit left, a quarter to 3/4 at the bottom, or I guess a quarter left of this. I'm going to apply most of it on here. I'm going to let it set for 5 minutes. Once that 5 minutes is up, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to apply the rest of this on there and just kind of work my fingers through it a little bit and let it set for another 5 minutes. So our neutralizers are always a 10-minute processing time. 5 with the wrap and 5 with the wrap taken down. And then after that's done, I'm going to rinse, 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 rinse. So.
For you, Jess.
Yes.
Do you think saturation would be better with, and I'm going to add lib, because putting the perm solution on first, then braid and adjust the time from there?
That's a great question. So the question is, could you put the perm solution on first and then braid it and then adjust the time? It's braiding's very quick and easy, so I do think that that's a possibility with that one. I think it's depending on which wrap you're doing. But yeah, then you can make sure it's on there really well. Braid it. If you need to apply a little bit more afterwards, put that on, and that's not a problem at all. But yeah, just be thinking about your timing with that. And the braid, you could definitely do that because it's very fast and easy.
Beautiful. Second part to that question is, how is the keratin curl with color treated or highlighted hair?
So great question. So there is a formula for that. So as I'm doing this next technique, I will talk to you guys about our different formulas. So I'm going to get the technique started and then I will go through these if that's cool. So next technique. Hope you guys love the first one. Again, fast, easy. This next one is one of my favorites. It's one I also do a lot in the salon. Some of you guys are probably not old enough to know or remember Little House on the Prairie, but think of those like older time periods and settings when they didn't have rollers to set their hair. So they would tie their hair up at night and sleep in it. So I actually have taken, and I'll use different things depending on what kind of wave and stuff I want to get. And I will tie it up with a rag and let that tie it up and then perm it. So again, we're not even picking up a perm rod for this one. So I'll kind of talk through you on sectioning and stuff. Sometimes I will go right in the middle and start on the top. That way they can go to either side. If they have a part that you want to part it on, that's fine too. So I pretty much take like square sections. Again, thinking of your sections, how big you take a section, you're going to get a little bit bigger of a wave and a little bit more over direction away from that scalp. Compared to smaller sections, I'm going to get a little bit tighter, closer to the scalp and tighter wave. So I want to start off. This is going to be my section. So I'm just taking like a square on the top of the head. So pretty good size. Again, we still do have to use our perm end papers. So end papers are going here. And literally all these was we got a pack of super cheap washcloths at like the Dollar General store, like a 5-pack, and we cut them in strips. So that's all that is. You could cut up t-shirts. You can use tube socks. In the salon, a lot of times if I don't have these with me and I want to do this wrap, I will actually just take my cotton and like double or triple loop it so it's longer and thicker, because again, the thicker the material it is, the looser wave. The tighter the material is, the skinnier the material is, the tighter wave it'll be. So looser wave with thicker material, tighter with thinner material. So once that's in here, all I'm going to do to hold it in place is tie it. So we'll go in and do another. So I'm actually going to take pretty good sections so we can get through these. And I've got one that's completely done that I'll show you. So as I'm doing a couple of these and talking through it, I will also tell you our Keune keratin curl. We have 3 different formulas in our keratin curl. What I love about them is they are keratin based. So of course our hair is made out of keratin. So they're actually very conditioning for the hair. So they give you very soft. That's why I love them for these techniques, because it's a very soft body curl texture. So our first one is a 0. So on the front of the box, it says 0. And that formula is going to be to give you a stronger curl for those clients that have that really hard, difficult hair that doesn't want to hold a curl. That's going to be your go-to for that one. So a 0 is going to give you a stronger curl pattern. Then we have a 1. A formula 1 is going to be for your normal to fine hair clients. So if they have normal hair, fine hair, that's going to be your go-to, is a formula 1. For those color clients and highlighted clients, you can use our formula 2. Formula 2 is for our color treated clients. If you have a client that has color treated hair, you're worried about the porosity, and you need to even that out, you're going to use our protein spray in the care line. So if they have some of those ends that are just kind of and you want to just make sure everything feels good and evens out, just use that protein spray throughout it. Spray that on, and then after you've shampooed, spray that on, leave it in, and then wrap it. And that's going to help even out some porosity on that color treated hair and that highlighted hair. If you have somebody with normal hair, but those ends are just kind of icky from blow drying, flat ironing, curling ironing, things like that, same thing. Use the protein spray beforehand, and it'll just even out that porosity for you. So the other thing is with the color treated, the number 2, what I love is that if I use the protein spray and they still have a little bit compromised hair, and they're like, I just got to have this perm. It has to happen. I need body in my hair. We have a client that comes in. We call her Mama Faye. Mama Faye likes to be bleached out and then get a perm. So with the number 2, what you can do in your perm solution is you take and pour half of the solution out and fill that half with water. And that will help dilute it and be a little bit safer on those color highlighted clients. So again, do that to consultation, do that float or sink test, see how it is. Use your protein spray, use your number 2 formula if they have highlighted colored hair. So we would continue just to do that. I done 3 on the front. I would brick lay the back, and when I'm finished, it would pretty much look like, where's she at? I've got mannequins everywhere. So she's tied up. So just tied up, got rags all in her hair. Again, you could do this with cut t-shirts. These are washcloths. You can do, I have found, what I want to do is I have bags of masks that, thank you, Jesus, I don't have to wear anymore. So I might play with my mask, do something with my mask, and figure out some way to roll something up on some masks to use those, because I have several bags of them now. So yeah, so afterwards, roll her up. So again, this is definitely one I would be after I rinse really good, because of the cloth in there, I would blot her, and this is when I would definitely set under the dryer for just a little bit to get that air neutralizing, to get some of that water out before I actually put the neutralizer on. But again, also always remember that barrier cream around the hairline and that cotton. Typically on timing, I'm going to give you guys timing for these. I will halfway through their timing change their cotton out. So that way, again, even though I have that on there as a barrier cream, look, where's her face at? Even though I have that barrier cream on there, that cotton is still sitting there, and I don't want to irritate their skin at all. So I will apply my solution halfway through. I want to check on them anyways and see how they're doing, and I will take that old cotton off and put new cotton on. So,
Jess, we have questions, lots.
Okay, let's hear them.
Which formula would you recommend for super fine, tight cuticle, can't hold anything thin hair?
So I would definitely go to my zero. So even though one says normal to fine hair, if they're normal to fine but they're difficult to curl, I'm always going to go to my zero with my stronger hold to get my stronger curl.
Awesome. Next question. What would be the percent of blonde someone can have for these? Like, what's the limit?
So my personal limit, I like to go about 50%. I think that's definitely in the consultation. Like I said, our Mama Faye that comes into the salon, she's someone else's client, but we all know who she is. She brings us food on Fridays and all that. But she is literally a on the scalp bleach. And then she, every 3 to 4 months, she likes to get that perm. So with that number 2 being color treated, using that protein spray, adding water to that formula, it works for her. So I would definitely make sure you know the client. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, I would say don't do it. But try it on a mannequin, see how it works for you. But I have seen it work great on her. And typically on my highlights, they might have a full head of highlights, but I know I've only highlighted them with, like, say 10 volume. And I know they could take it with some protein spray in the number 2 formula. So it's going to be that history. Find out what all's on there, what kind of buildup of blonde it is, and things like that, of what your comfort level is.
Great. Next question. What's the durability of the texture with these techniques?
Can you explain that a little bit more? What do you mean durability? Like how long it's going to last?
How long will it last?
So it's a perm. It's permanent. So you have to think about, like, our little ladies that come in, they want to perm every 3 months because they think it's gone. But you wet them down and you still see that curl on the ends because it's permanent. It's a perm. So it does change. It is in there. It is permanent. I feel like my braid one that I do a lot, it's a lot of times on longer hair. I feel like they get a good 3 to 6 months out of it, depending. The longer the hair is, the heavier it is. It might look like it's out. It might look like it's been pulled out because the weight and the length of their hair. But I mean, I have one that the one that we just did, the rag wrap, I do on one of my little girls, and we do hers about every 8 months. And she still has it on the ends, but she just kind of wants it refreshed, and it's kind of loosened up a little bit, but it's still there. So it is changing the pattern of that hair and that curl. So it is permanent. So just think about how often you would do your perms. Like I said, mainly 3 months at the most amount of time in between. But a lot of mine that get a lot of these type of wraps are usually around every 6 months to a year, just to get some body and wave in their hair.
Great. Can we add Bond Fusion into the perms?
Great question. Yes, we can use our Bond Fusion in the perm. What you're going to do with the Bond Fusion is going to be during your neutralizing part of your wrap. So you're going to shampoo her, wrap her up, do your solution, rinse her, and then your Bond Fusion, you're going to put your neutralizer on for 5 minutes. Then you're going to rinse that out, and then you're going to put on your Bond Fusion. With that Bond Fusion, I have found that it's very hard and tedious to, like, put it in a little cup and pour it on exactly where I need it. So what we have found the hard way of doing this after the first couple times is we will keep a clean Keune spray bottle because it's that good mister on there. And we will put the Bond Fusion in there and mist that on and make sure it's on everything. But yes, you can. So it's in your directions with your Bond Fusion, but it's during your neutralizing steps.
Perfect. Is there any concern that the cloths are absorbing the solution and not the hair?
So that's a great question with the cloth. Is the cloth absorbing the solution and not the hair? So I will just literally like make sure I'm putting it on the hair. The cloth definitely absorbs some of it, but I will just move those around and make sure I'm applying the solution to the hair. So you can pick those up, move those, and make sure it's getting on the hair and not on so much on the cloth. So pick that cloth up out of your way and put it on the hair. Great question. Thank you.
And can you show the finished look to that one again?
Yes. So here's this one. It's very ropey kind of looking once it's done. And again, this is going to be ways to kind of show your guests how to style and play with the hair. Like this side, what I did was I put the curl defining cream in it in our Caroline. So yeah, curl defining cream. I applied that in here. And then on this side I kind of just let it air dry more naturally in the back. And then this side over here where it's a little bit more ropey looking, I would show them like actually you can actually put that product in and twist the hair to set it. And then they could let that air dry or they could diffuse that. And it just gives them a little bit more separation, kind of ropey kind of look. But that is for the rag curl.
Beautiful. I think we have one more. Thoughts on when people say that they've had a perm, but it was gone in a few days. She wants to know what's up with them.
A lot of times, so they either, sometimes I get those where I've had that in my chair before. They come in and they're like, this perm didn't last. And I think it's when they shampoo or rinse it and then they style it like they normally style it, which is a lot of times straight or sleek and things like that. And they're like, this didn't last or this didn't work. And then I wet them down and there's their curl or there's their wave. So sometimes if I do get that now, I make them come back in and we wet their hair down, do a little shampoo, and then like see if it's actually there or not. If it's not, it could have been something with, I have seen once before where someone actually used the neutralizer first and then the solution after, and it didn't quite work like it was supposed to. Not saying that you did that at all, but just things that we have to think about. But a lot of times it's just the client, they're used to styling their hair like they normally do, and then it's not there. Every once in a while, it is one of those things where if their hair is really, really long and got a lot of weight to it, and we use like the biggest perm rod there is, so say like those big fat teal ones on really long hair, that weight will pull it out. So we have to think about what will hold in the hair. So not sure what happened with that one particularly. Sometimes it's the client, sometimes we just got to think about different choices of what we're using and what size we're using in the hair so the weight of the hair doesn't pull it out. Hope that answers your question.
Wonderful. And we're going to get to after take-home care, correct?
Yes. We're going to talk about take-home care after we do the techniques. So that's the three formulas we have. What's really cool, we also have a root boost. So I don't have one of those boxes with me, but let me show you what the keratin curls look like. So I love them also because they're in pink boxes, and I'm girly and I love fun colors. And when they first revamped these, I'm like, oh, well, I just love the color in the boxes. And people will come in and be like, oh, what's that pink box? I want to use that. And I'm like, it's a perm. And then they're like, yeah. So again, it's just really fun to do these different techniques without perm rods and get that texture and body in the hair. But we'll tell you right on there, we got a 0, we got a 1, we got a 2 over here. And then we have a root boost gel. The Root Boost Gel is in a white box with a pink, where this one's pink with white. It's in a white box, and it actually says Root Boost Gel on it. The Root Boost Gel can give us body. We can use it and compare or with our perms or standalone. It comes in a tube where it actually is in a gel form. So if someone just wants body in their hair, you could roll them on a big old giant rod, something to just get the lift up. And then you literally take that gel and apply it just to the base where you want that volume. So you could just do it in the top. You can do it all over. I've done it with these techniques where I do that Root Boost Gel at the root and then do their solution. So you can use them together also. But it's just going to give lots of body and extra lift in the hair for those clients, especially those fine hair clients that want oomph in their hair. So fun little extra product to get body in the hair. It also has a neutralizer, so whether you use it in addition with a perm or use it on its own, you'll let it process, which we're going to talk processing times next. Let it process, rinse it, blot it, and then neutralize it. All right, how you guys doing so far? Give me some thumbs up, some high fives. All right, next one, we are going to use something that I love that I have a client I've done this perm on. She cracked me up. She was so excited after I got her all wrapped up with bendy rods. So if you want something more like kind of that little bit of a perm, but it's not a perm rod, so it's a little bit more untraditional, and you don't have to sit and clip everything. You just bend it and go. So these are fun and easy to use. Again, sectioning is bigger the section, the farther away from the scalp it's going to be. Smaller section, closer to the scalp. Bigger rod you get, it's going to be more wave to the smaller rods are going to give you more body. So she's got really long hair. So what I like to do with these, once I get started on these, I kind of like to just kind of sway back and forth with it because they have so much hair. I don't want it like all in one place. But once I've got that on there, then I just twist and it holds. So fun, easy way to get a body wave in the hair. This is going to give you a little bit more curl than wave. But the client I did, she's hilarious. She comes in, she seen one of my classes or something that I'd done on Instagram or Facebook, and she's like, I want that hair. So we made her an appointment. She come in. We put all of the rods in and put the processing cap on her. And then when we were finished putting the processing solution on, she's like, can I go smoke? And I'm like, yeah, don't blow up. So she goes out and smokes, and she makes this Snapchat video that she, of course, puts on her thing, and she's outside and she's smoking, and she's like, so I'm getting some perm in my hair. I've got all this stuff on my head. I've got this solution on my head. Hopefully it doesn't react with this cigarette and I don't blow up. But she absolutely loved it. Loved having the body in her hair and wave. And again, showing her how to utilize the curl at home. The home maintenance is a big part of it, so we will go over that in a little bit. But it's so easy. Like I'm just going to like twist those up. This one I always start at the top and work my way down. And again, just kind of bricklayering those sections in. So going in, picking up the hair. Again, always combing through and making sure it is smooth before you get started. With these, instead of, it's up to you, but with the longer hair like this, I just take one and bookend the perm rod. Then again, starting and then just kind of swaying it back and forth. And then once it's up there, bend. With the keratin curl perms, they are for you guys that like pH and alkalinity or acid and all that, they are an alkaline perm. So with alkaline perms, what you want to be careful for is you don't want to use a lot of tension. A lot of tension with alkaline perms can cause breakage. So make sure you're not wrapping anything too tight. They are a pH of 8.3, so it's a low alkalinity, but they are alkaline. So I would continue rolling this all the way up. Once it was rolled up, she got massive rods everywhere, right? So with the timing, what I love about these keratin curls is it can be, timing can kind of be different for you. We can process these at room temperature with no heat or no cap. So with that, a 0 perm for that hard to curl is going to be 15 to 20 minutes with just room temperature. A 1 is going to be 13 to 18 minutes. A 2, 8 to 13 minutes. So your root boost, if you're doing a root boost, that's going to fall in your 0 category also. Take a picture of this, screenshot this if you need to, so that way you have that timing with you. If you do a cap, so you could do a processing cap with a little bit of body heat and things like that in that processing cap, it's going to cut the timing down a little bit from just room temperature. So we got 12 to 17 minutes, 10 to 15, and only 6 to 10 with that color treated. If we do a heat where we want to put the processing cap on them and then put them under the dryer, just medium, don't go high, just medium heat, 7 to 10 minutes, 6 to 10, or 4 to 8. So, I mean, that's a really quick one there at the end if they have color treated hair. So with things like this, though, you're going to need more than one cap. So with my client Rachel, which is a nut anyway, she's hilarious. We had all these caps on her. I mean, and the Snapchat wasn't, of course, just a regular Snapchat video. It was the one that made your mouth really big and your voice different. So, like, literally, with this one, I'm going to have to, like, use 3 caps to get that on there. So, because of all that sticking up and things like that, you got to maneuver. So, getting those caps on like that. So again, with this one, after I rinse and blot, this is another one I'm going to definitely put under the dryer and let her air neutralize for a little bit before I go in and put the neutralizer on. Her finished. Again, this side I'm so backwards in this camera. This side over here, I did, again, the twist. I like to do a lot of my curls where I just show them how to twist it. And that's just twisting. And then as we go into the back, it goes, this is just natural. This is just the curl defining lotion on there in the care line and diffused a little bit and mainly air dried. So that is your finished result with your bendy rods. Cool. How we doing? Questions, concerns? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jess.
Oh, you're fine. I just said I'm loving it.
Okay, awesome. I got 2 more. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to do these very, very quickly. Next one. Again, sectioning about the same as the last couple. I'm going to do just a couple big sections here. The other thing, too, is so like my mannequins that I'm picking up and using, they are starting to dry out a little bit. So I do want to make sure that if I start with her damp, I want to finish with her damp. So if she starts drying, make sure you put some water on there and get that even with the water and the dampness. So this one, I'm doing band 2 knots. So again, no perm rods. I'm just twisting. I'm going to twist until it twists up on itself. And just keep twisting. Twist, twist, twist. Now again, I can't use anything metal. I'm not sure if I said that. I can't use metal with perm solution. So I have to make sure I figure out a way to hold this in place after I've twisted it and knotted it up on itself. So what I have been doing is, let me find my piece of cotton. take your cotton, wrap it around that knot, take an elasticity, little rubber band, and put it over that. So that way I can hold it in without having to use bobby pins, anything metal, things like that. So I'm going to do one more, show you how it looks wrapped up and show you the end result. So again, twist, twist, just keep twisting, let it twist up on itself. All the way through those ends. Take that piece of cotton, wrap it around. Take your elastic and put over it. So once you have that in, she looks kind of like this. So you can see I just kind of done 4 through the top, bricklayed the back. And when she is finished, she got curls, curls, curls. So again, another just easy way to get curl in the hair without even picking up a perm rod. So play with these, see that again, the smaller sections, tighter I twist it, the tighter the curl is going to be. And this was pretty big sections, and she gets quite a bit of curl with that because it's, just think about how that's wrapped up in that twist. So that is your Bantu knots. My last one I want to share with you guys before we talk about home maintenance, because we got about 10 more minutes.
Hey, Jessica?
Yes.
One question on the twist
Yes.
technique. Do you always twist the same direction for each, or counterclockwise first and then clockwise next?
Honestly, I probably done everything the same because I really didn't think about that. So I don't think it hurts either way. So if you want to have curls kind of going, this is everything twisted the exact same way. So if you want the movement to be a little bit different, you can definitely switch each time. So that's definitely your preference. So the question was, should I change the way I twist it each time? So definitely up to you on how you want that to lay. I honestly didn't even think about it, so I just twisted everything the same way. All right, so any other questions so far, Jess?
No, we're great.
All right, so this one is one of my favorites. I've only had 2 people actually let me perm them with it in. I've got to do the set and let them wear it like this for a day, for whether it's a party or things like that. I'm an 80s child, and I loved crimped hair. So this one is going to give you that kind of zigzag, kind of crimped look. So again, think about what you can use in the hair. If it's not metal, you could put it in the hair and perm it. So what we're going to use now are popsicle sticks, tongue depressors, wax sticks, whatever you want to call them. With this, I'm going to go up, get those ends in, lower her down a little bit so you guys can see. So I'm going to take that popsicle stick. I could take a pretty long section, as you see, because that popsicle stick's long. I'm going to start the wrap. Get my fingers going. Again, this is one where, because all that hair, I'm going to rock it back and forth. So rock it, kind of rock. Maybe a good song will be on while you're doing it, so you can just dance to the music. And the clips I like to use for this, again, you need something plastic. Our Keune clips are plastic, so these are perfect, and it'll hold 2 or 3 at a time. So I'm just going to pull that one out. Clip it there. It'll hold it in place, and I'll be able to use that 2 to 3 times as I'm going down this section. So now I'm rolling these. The one I've got done for you guys is everything is rolled horizontal. But think about your placement, whether it's these popsicle sticks with the bendy rods, whatever you're placing in the hair, just like we think about lines with haircut or color, same thing with our placement for our rods. So if we cut hair horizontal, we build weight in the hair. If we color hair, put foils in, Horizontal, we build weight, sheets of color. If we do haircuts vertical, it causes everything to look more elongated. If we place foils in the hair, it looks more elongated. So if I place my rods or my popsicles that sticks in the hair, I'm going to get a little bit different result placing them this way than going in and placing them horizontal. So just like your lines and placement, whether we are coloring hair, cutting hair, perming hair, styling hair, drying hair, curling with a curling iron, those lines matter of what end result we want to create. So I'll do one more and then I'll show you guys what it looks like totally rolled up and your end result. And then we'll talk some home maintenance. So again, there.
I have to just share some comments with you because like I'm having the best time over here. Everyone's loving the new technique, so inspiring. Debbie, our friend from the Netherlands, she was bouncing on her couch and she said, no joke, I got my jaw on the floor. This is so inspiring.
Yay! I love this class. Like I said, it just really gets us out of the box of what we can put in hair to get waves. Because again, we think perms and we automatically think 9 sections, beauty school perm, and there's just so many more ways to get body and texture in the hair. So again, these are plastic clips. They have these little bitty plastic clips that I have found at the beauty supply store. So just wrap her up. So here's what she would look like if it was horizontal. I threw a couple verticals in the back so you can see those. But the end result, again, this one is one of my favorites. Hope you can see her good in the light. But look at that zigzag. I absolutely love the look of this. So you can see that zigzag kind of crimped pattern. So I use those larger popsicle sticks. They have smaller popsicle sticks you could use if you want even a tighter one. So you could use smaller sticks. You could use, if you want a bigger zigzag pattern, think paint stirrers from like Lowe's, Home Depot, things like that. Because again, it's going to have that edge where you get that kind of crimped zigzag look. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I'm glad you guys are getting motivated and inspired. So again, what else can you use? Anything that's not metal. So straws, plastic bottles, rope. You can't really see it. These are little spoolies that you could get at Sally's Beauty Supplies, like Legos, like get your kids' toys and play. I had a friend of mine call me and they're like, hey, I need an idea for short hair. I don't know how she wants the body in her hair and I can't, like, what can I do? So I was like, use Velcro rollers, use your old like school rollers if that's what you need to get in there. That really soft curl, if they have shorter hair, why not finger wave it? You'd have to have something to hold it, so you could use these plastic clips, anything plastic, hold it in place and perm it and get that body of that just movement in there. So tons and tons of ideas that you can use and get body and wave and texture in the hair without picking up a perm rod. So with that, let's talk home maintenance. And then you guys can enjoy the rest of your Monday. So here's some things I'm letting them know at home. Once I've done this to their hair, whichever technique it may be, I like to send them home with our Care Curl Control Shampoo and Conditioner, or our Keune U, where I can customize and put the curl in with something else that they might need. I let them know that when they're in the shower, keep a wide tooth comb in their shower now, and when their conditioner's in, wide tooth comb their hair in the shower with the conditioner, because you don't want to touch the hair a lot once you're done with your shower and it's wet. Don't rough it up. I like to tell them not to use a towel. Use a cotton t-shirt instead, because the cotton on the towel, sometimes it just is too rough. And we typically kind of want to do this kind of thing onto our head. So tell them not to rough it up. Condition in the shower, run a comb through it, get out. Put their products in when it's wet. Like as soon as you get out of the shower with curly hair, you want to put your products in there. apply that in, and then go back, and if you want to like put it up or something, kind of squeeze the water out, use that cotton t-shirt. So get that water out with the cotton t-shirt without roughing it up. Put the product in really, really wet, not damp. Some of my favorite products to use, of course, I told you about the curl defining cream in our care line. Absolutely love that one. That's one I use on my hair a lot. Can't get the lighting right for those, but it's a curl defining cream. Of course, in Style, we have our curl cream. That one's also very nice. Those are going to define the curl, take care of frizziness. They don't have a lot of hold. So if I want a little extra hold to it, we have our line. It's kind of like a spray gel, and it's going to help energize those curls. For my girl that I braided and she just wants that beachy wave, I love our salt spray. So the salt mist in the Caroline. So that's some of my favorites to use. I also just like mousse. I like gel, depending on, again, what I'm looking for as my end result. But when they apply it, they're going to apply it when it's wet, wet, wet. Once that's in, they can tie it up, like I said, a t-shirt, let it set for a little bit. Diffuse. So if they have thrown away their diffuser on their hair dryer, let them know that it might be a good thing to go get one. They sell universal ones that you can put on any type of dryer. Show them how to diffuse it, going in underneath, not using your hands a lot, not touching the curls a lot. If you want more body, make sure you push your head over and get up under there so they get more body and lift to those curls. So an only medium to medium low heat. You don't want high heat with curls. It's going to frizz them. Movement, again, touch and movement to a minimum. And then a lot of times I will air dry, and that's when I will show them how to like twist and let that set, or just put those products in and let it air dry, and you'll get the best benefit of that curl without getting frizz. So that is some home maintenance stuff that I like to go through and talk to them about. So the products, of course, are going to change from what they're using now, and some different ways to approach their style and their hair once they get done in the mornings and take that shower. So hopefully that helps. It is 2 o'clock. I hope you guys have enjoyed today. I enjoyed being here with you guys and sharing all these fun techniques. We do this every Monday. So again, drop in the comment boxes of things that you'd like to see, what you want to hear. Jessica's great about setting those up and letting us share with you guys. So comment, let us know. Here's all of our connections on Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube page. We have a Pinterest page. You could go back and watch these videos on our just our web page. So tons of information. Thank you again for being here with me. Thank you for letting me share. Jessica, do we have any other questions before we head out?
Nope, they're just wanting a part 2.
Okay, sounds good. We can do this all day long. Thank you guys. It was so much fun sharing with you guys. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you get inspired and challenge you guys to get out there and create body and curl. Let us know what you're doing. Like if you do some of these, whether it's on mannequins, on some of your clients, tag Keune, tag me. Let us see your results and what fun things you're using to get that curl and body in the hair. Cool. All right. If we don't have anything else, Jess, then we are out.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. Thank you, guys. See you later.
You have to end it.
I'm trying to end it. I don't know how to technology. Okay, here.